Good afternoon. It is Friday, April 24th, 2026. One time I was on a hike with some friends from church and we came across some wild strawberries up in the fields. They were delicious, very tiny, but quite sweet, and we ate all we could gather. We got back home and told some others what we'd done, and we had one lady just got real upset that we stole the birds' food. Well, some folks just like to complain. One of the flashpoints between Jesus and the Jewish leaders was their differing beliefs about the Sabbath. In the Jewish belief of that time, the Sabbath was from sundown on Friday until sundown on Saturday, and they had strict regulations about what could and could not be done on the Sabbath. And then they kept adding more interpretations of what those strict rules meant, and they got stricter and stricter as time went by. Well, Jesus kept using their strict adherence to their own man-made rules to continually get them to question those man-made rules. In Luke chapter 6, verses 1 to 5, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation, second edition, it says, "One Sabbath day, as Jesus is walking through some grain fields, his disciples broke off heads of grain, rubbed off the husks in their hands, and ate the grain. But some Pharisees said, 'Why are you breaking the law by harvesting grain on the Sabbath?' Well, Jesus replied, 'Haven't you read in the scriptures what David did when he and his companions were hungry? He went into the house of God and broke the law by eating the sacred loaves of bread that only the priest can eat. And he also gave some to his companions.' And Jesus added, 'The Son of Man is Lord, even over the Sabbath.'" They're walking through the grain fields and they just kind of reach out and grab some of the grain with their hands and rub the husks off and eat it. It's kind of chewy, makes a little doughy thing in your mouth. It's not the most tasty thing in the world, but that's what they did as they're walking through the grain field. And then here come the Pharisees, and they're going to pick trouble, and they're going to find some fault, and they're going to find things wrong with everything Jesus did. They said, "You are harvesting, and that's against the law." Now, everybody else thought harvesting was you take a great big scythe and you cut down the grain. But no, you're just grabbing some with your hand. That's harvesting, and it's against the law. Well, rather than arguing with them, or trying to convince them, Jesus just reminds them of the actions of King David when he and his men broke the rules. Sometimes when someone's being disagreeable, it's best not to argue or try to convince people whose minds are already made up. Instead, know who you are and why you do things, and just let the fussy folks fuss. Jesus says, "I am the Son of Man, and I'm the Lord of the harvest, Lord of the Sabbath." The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. And he let them know who he was and what he was doing. And that's what was important. God bless you.